Hello and welcome to Friday. We've talked about music and video games for the past couple of days, so I figured let's do the hat trick. Let's talk about TV shows. Um, oh boy. Okay, so about I don't know what do you call it? A couple weeks ago, I ended. Did we ever talk about 30 Rock? I think we did. We did talk about 30 Rock. I ended up finishing watching 30 Rock. This is my elliptical show. I run 5 miles on the elliptical every day. Well, every weekday, rather. And so, average is about to like a couple hours over the course of the week. And as a result, I kind of do stuff to occupy my time. Previously, it was Professor Oak's challenge in Pokemon Fire Red and Emerald. We'll find a substitute for that soon enough. And typically, I would watch TV shows. So for a while, it was 30 Rock. Prior to that, I can't remember what the show was. Oh my god! But like, I was always on the lookout for like some kind of new show for me. It might have been like White Collar or 30 or not White Collar or what do you call it? What was the other show? Um, Burn Notice. Like other like kind of crime shows that I just eat up like potato chips. Will Trent is another one that had a good 2 season run. I know that season 3 is coming out, but it's not fully out yet, so I can only watch like one episode a week, or whatever thing is on YouTube. And that's my time where it's just like I can pick whatever show I want. That's just easy watching and just like I can play a game, I can run, I can like passively take the show in at the same time. I don't really need to pay too much attention where it's like not like a movie or a what do you call it, or anime, right? Like typically I'll stick to English stuff. And recently I found myself in a weird little rabbit hole. If you haven't noticed, I'm kind of young, right? As of recording, I'm 27, and that means I was a child of the 2000s, right? I grew up watching, Saturday morning cartoons, but they weren't like, regular cartoons that we consider now. It was like Fox used to have like a programming block where they would put on like shows like Sonic X and Kirby Right Back at Ya was another one, and I might watch those at some point. And it's just like a little kind of thing where it's just like, hey, I was a silly dumb kid at the time, loving these shows. And well, like, that's not to like knock on like kids shows. I, everybody watched SpongeBob. I know like Avatar: The Last Airbender was huge in my family. We watched quite a bit of that. There's just tons of like amazing kids shows and even modern kids shows. I haven't really kept up with that, but I know people love Bluey. Like that's a very incredible show. And there's just like some really really great children's programming out there. But like the 2000s program, yeah, 2000s kids shows were weird in the sense like you had Japanese animation like coming that was dubbed for American audiences. Obviously we have Pokemon. That might be another one that's on the list. You have Pokemon. You have like a weird. It was a time where like dubbing children's cartoons wasn't like as mainstream as it was. Of course, you had Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that. Another one on the list. Um, but it was kind of different, right? Like obviously now more and more importance is being put on that and more accessibility and making like Western or Eastern animation more appropriate for the West. Like dubbing is a very important thing. Like Crunchyroll has made a huge kind of thing out of it. But prior to that, like Sonic and like Kirby were, you know, produced for a Japanese audience and then brought over, and there's some censorship. There's a bunch of weird stuff there. So why not try and revisit some of these weird shows? Two in mind that came like were very specific. Sometimes you just scroll around on YouTube and you see like the weirdest stuff appear in your feed. Like if I open up my YouTube app right now and lower the volume so that you don't get blasted by anything, and I just go to my home and then I refresh it, we'll see what kind of nuts stuff there is. And there's some wild stuff I'm gonna watch later. But if I scroll down a little bit deeper, we have uh just like comedians. You have like people talking about like old shows like uh, Star Wars, something I haven't watched. You have people talking about things that they enjoyed as a kid. Like here's one about like the Office pranks, but they get more and more expensive. That's from the Office channel. Uh, you have just like other shows that were wild in the 2000s. That like here's one again on Avatar. Here is one on more Star Wars. I have never seen Star Wars. I don't know why I'm getting recommended this stuff. There's a lot of Pokemon stuff here. Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I see um, a lot of music stuff. Just a lot of like Simpsons. Like there's a lot of weird stuff out there that I was exposed to as a kid that I never really thought of, and it's just caught passively because hey, we just turned on Cartoon Network. Hey, we just turned on Disney. We just turned on Nickelodeon, and this was on, so we just left it on. And there's two very specific shows that I have been consuming recently because I figured I needed something absolutely garbage to just like feed the brain while I'm just running. And those two shows would be both Xiaolin Showdown and Code Lyoko. Let's talk about Xiaolin Showdown first. This one was inspired because I saw a video about with like the title of like they lost a lot in Xiaolin Showdown and why that's a good thing or something along those lines. And I was like, I remember that show. I remember my brother and I loving that show. I remember us owning like a trading card game for it or something, and it was just like, why, right? I doubt we still have any of those cards, but like I could probably see and dig them up, see if we have them. But that was just like something that like we watched and really enjoyed as youths, as like 10-year-olds or whatever. And like you never hear about it again. Apparently there was a reboot at some point, like Shaolin Chronicles or something, and like I just like, hey, it's available for streaming. I'm like, why not, right? Let's watch that. And it is perfect garbage television where it's just like you don't even need to pay attention to it. It's just like absorb passively. You have some really like neat kind of lessons taught as a kid, but it's just like really weird and interesting, and it's fun, right? That was on Fox, and it was just like fun children's animation that I enjoy. Like even now, like 20 years later, it's just like, hey, it's fun to just watch this. Another one that's just absolutely buck wild would be Code Lyoko, because that was initially a French Canadian kind of animation, and somehow it got an English translation and it just started airing here in the US. And it's really unique because it's swaps between traditional 2D animation where everybody has massive foreheads. I'm one to talk. And like CG kind of 3D animation where they just they go into a supercomputer and they're on Lyoko, and I think we even have like a couple video games for Code Lyoko. We do because I cataloged it, and it's just like really fun and wild and neat stuff that happens in that show. It's like very cheesy, it's very lame, and it's again perfect garbage television, which I love. Being able to just like consume stuff like that and just be like, yes, I don't care anything about this. Like, bestow this cursed knowledge that I will never use anywhere else onto my like burn them into my retinas, bake them into my brain, and it's just like beautiful garbage that I could just like absorb passively while playing a game or just running for hours on end. And it's just like fun nonsense that I really like to just consume. Code Lyoko is actually freely available on YouTube. The entire English release is just on YouTube, and I think there's like a live action sequel as well or something along those lines. I believe. Like if I just go to my like saved playlist on YouTube, yeah, for some reason, whatever on my watch later is just a 5-hour video documentary on the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, because of course it is, or Sweet Life on Deck rather, not even the original. Yeah, there's a Code Lyoko channel that has they still upload videos. What the hell? They're still uploading compilations of like here's an hour. Oh my gosh, nuts. But yeah, they have a whole playlist where they just uploaded the entire English release, and I believe there is a sequel. I don't have it here. but there is just like a sequel of Code Lyoko that's out there. Same with Xiaolin Showdown, and apparently like these shows were beloved enough to get sequels. So I'm like, why not enjoy something that I saw as a kid? Sure, I could watch other cheesy crime dramas that I absolutely love to watch. You know, just ooh, I could probably watch Bones. That might be on their list. Like Monk, I've talked about. Maybe just go back to Elementary because that's a fun show. But like, there's so many of these great, enjoyable shows that even as a kid, while I didn't appreciate them then, I can appreciate them now. And just like, hey, I watched it once as an adult. I consumed it. It was fun, and you know, we'll move on to the next thing. This is more of like an interim kind of thing before I find my next very long show that I just binge. But you know, 30 Rock lasted me quite a while. I forgot was prior to that. I feel so bad, but you know, we have other shows that fill that void, and they're so easy and so quick to watch that, you know, it's nice to actually consume these for a bit. So, anyway, that's the hat trick done. We've talked about games, music, and TV shows. We're not going to talk about movies or anything else, I promise. But for now, that's where I'm going to call it for today. It's been fun talking about all these things that I've been recently enjoying, so hopefully you guys have been enjoying stuff as well. So that's what I'm going to call it for today. Thank you all for watching. I hope to see you tomorrow. And until then, later.